Good morning and welcome to Quest Television and Quest 93.1 FM. It is the 31st day in the month of May 2023. A lovely Wednesday morning here in the studios, and well, another Wednesday for us to see what the papers have. My name is Orika Mariam and welcome to the paper review on Quest today. Making a return back to you this morning of 5 newspapers, we have This Day, The Punch, The Daily Trust, The Guardian, and The Nation newspaper. And you know, I don't do this alone. With me this morning in the studio is Comrade Efe Odomo, our admirable Quest analyst. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. You successfully disappeared for 2 days and reappeared on Wednesday.
Oh, well, I was busy, official on duty at the inauguration. But with that being said, let's head straight to the papers. The first paper for review this morning is This Day newspaper. And on this day, the major headline reads, Investors react positively as Tinubu meets Emefiele, Kyari, and Labour over petrol subsidy. Riders are a lot, but I will just take some of them. The first says stocks markets gain 1.51 trillion naira, and naira appreciates as Eurobonds rally. NLC, TUC express outrage and describe pronouncement as insensitive. Well, a lot of this you can read on page 5 of This Day newspaper. But moving away from that, we have Zenith maintains position as best corporate governance financial services in Africa in 4th consecutive year. Is a story you can read on the front page and continue on page 10 of This Day. CBN governor seeks urgent debt management reforms at state levels amid increasing exposure is also making it to page 10 of This Day newspaper. President directs DSS to vacate EFCC's office immediately. It's one you can read on page 8 of This Day. And also 10th Assembly says Northern Alliance alleges undemocratic moves to stop Betara and Yari. Do also read the story on page 40 of This Day newspaper. And well, for the picture of the day, you can see the headline there which states, Emilokon, President Guard of Honor, welcomes Tinubu to his office. And well, we at Quest also welcome him to his office, and we say, wow, we are in indeed for a swell time. Yes, but with that being said, do also read all of that on page 5 of This Day, and that's the most you can take on the front page of This Day newspaper. The next paper for review is the Daily Trust. The major headline in the Daily Trust newspaper this morning is talking about subsidy removal. As it says, petrol price hits 700 naira per litre as federal government says no going back. The writers there says government to pay us 2.8 trillion naira deficit, says Kyari. And then TUCL Labour Party, SDP Kick, says pronouncement ill-timed. Commuters hike transport fares, and NMPCL, NMDRA, and marketers back move. Do also read all of this on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Moving away from that, we have Sokoto governor sacks 14 monarchs, nullifies appointments of 23 permsecs and others. That story you can get on page 8. Next, we have NGX market value hits 3 trillion naira in single trading amid subsidy removal. It's making it to page 34. And also Douala hosts special Dabar to welcome Buhari. All of that you can get on page 43 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And well, that's much you can take on the front page of the Daily Trust. The next paper for review is The Punch. And on the Punch newspaper this morning, the major headline is talking about subsidy. As it says, fuel sells 600 naira per litre and queues worsen as filling stations shorts. The writers there say Tinubu and NNPCL GMD and others meet and framework for removal on the way. Also, federal government cannot fund subsidy again, owes NNPCL 2.8 trillion naira, says Kyari. Kwara, Ekiti, by also governors and others warn marketers against hoarding. We want to read all of this on page 2 of The Punch. Moving above the masthead, Tinubu inherits over 16 trillion naira uncompleted projects. It's making it to page 26. 11 trillion naira spent on moribund refineries in 13 years, says reps. I'm sure you're interested in all of that. Do want to read that story on page 30. And on ASU, it says court okays no work, no pay policy. Do all of that you can get on page 16. Moving down below, we have from the National Assembly, says anti-zoning group condemns alleged plan to arrest Betara and Yari. Well, do what read all of that on page 7. Still on page 7, talking about the OAU students. It says Adedoyin and workers bad death sentence and hotel forfeited. I don't know if you've been following this story, but well, yes, at Ife, a lot of people are saying finally it seems as though the justice system is working for the lesser man, but do well to read all of that on page 7. Comrade, we'll come to that later. Also we have Oyo Police Storm auxiliary hideout and arrest 78 with arms. It's making it to page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. And well, for the picture of the day, we can see queues for fuel at petrol station at Central Business District, Abuja, Alausa, and well, this was taken in Abuja and Lagos. These pictures were taken on Tuesday. And well, that's what we can take on the front page of the Punch newspaper. The next paper for review is The Guardian. And on The Guardian this morning, the major headline states, nationwide chaos, says morning after inauguration, nationwide chaos, pain as stakeholders seek caution on subsidy removal. It's making it to the front page, and you can read that story on page 6. Population Commission and 200 billion naira vote and botched 2023 census. Is making it to page 4 of The Guardian. Court justifies court's no work, no pay rule against ASU. Is making it to page 5 of The Guardian as well. Tinubu reinstates sanity as DSS EFCC squabble over property in Lagos. It's also making it to page 3 on The Guardian newspaper this morning. PPC admits 5 exhibits from OB and printout of Beaver's results from Atiku. It's making it to page 3. And also Adedoyin and 2 hotelers to die by hanging over murder of OAU students. It's making it to page 8. Tinubu and Shettima resume in Aso Villa as Nigerians await official appointments. There's one you can get on page 3, but we're getting on page 15. It says, boss welcomes Tinubu and records highest gain in 2 years. Like I said, do want to read all of that on page 15 of The Guardian newspaper. And well, that's the most we can take on the front page of The Guardian. The next paper for review is The Nation. And on The Nation this morning, the major headline states, stock markets gains 1.5 trillion naira on Tinubu's policy direction. It says gain is highest in 30 months, and naira firms up marginally. It's a good one there for us. But you can read all of this on the front page and continue on page 3 of The Nation newspaper. On the OAU students, it says Adedoyin and 2 others get death sentence. And if you're interested in that story, do what to read that on page 3. Federal government owing NNPCL 2.8 trillion naira, says scary. It's making it to page 11 of The Nation. And also we have Shettima, Sule, and editors, others, and Mon Dokwesi. Yes, it's making a rounds on the dailies this morning as well. Yes, may his soul rest in peace. But do also read all of that on page 2 of The Nation newspaper. PDP and Labour Party open case before tribunal is on the front page of The Nation, but do want to continue that story on page 9. And also we have petrol crisis trails president's fuel subsidy is gone pronouncement. Do want to read all of that on the front page and continue on page 6. And well, that's much you can take on the front page of The Nation newspaper. The final paper for review this morning is the Daily Sun. And on the Daily Sun this morning, it says, President's subsidy removal statements, don't dare Nigerians, NLC wants Tinubu. The writers there say, false scarcity, high price as marketers stop sales, removal not with immediate effect, says Tinubu's media center. TC asks president to dialogue with stakeholders, and reps NNPC and NMDPRA back presidents and decry panic buying. Also, we have NNPCL lost 2.8 trillion naira to subsidy. Well, all of this you can read on page 6, page 22, and continue on page 25 of the Daily Sun. Moving above the leading story we have on Biafra Day, IPOP shuts down Southeast and 30 arrested in Enugu. Masob urges Tinubu to release Kanu. Do want to read all of that on page 28. NGE mourns and describes Dokwesi as strong advocate of press freedom. Do want to read all of that on page 29 of the Daily Sun. President meets Emefiele and Kyari, states weak in debt management and financial transparency, says CBN. All of that you can get on page 25. And also, tribunal admits documents tendered by OB in defense of petition. It's making it to page 28 of the Daily Sun. Court okays federal government no work no pay against ASU. It's one you can get on page 6. And also, Tinubu orders DSS to vacate EFCC's Lagos office, forcefully taking over. It's making it on page 4. Death in hotel. It says Adedoyin and 2 others to die by hanging over OAU students' murder. It's making it to page 5. And also on Senate leadership, it says Kalu in talks with Yari's camp, moves to stop Yari and moves to stop Yari on Democratic says group. You can read all of that on page 27. And well, that's much we can take on the front page of all the dailies this morning. At this point, I open the phone line so you could have your say on the show before we move over to coverage to enlighten us on the matters making the rounds on the newspapers this morning. The numbers to call are on your screen, but for those on radio, the numbers are 080-22-931-931 and 081-88-888. 931. Call into the show, state your name, your location, and then have your say. With that being said, let's see if we have our first caller online this morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the show. Your name, your location, please.
It's Captain Alex calling from FM&TV.
All right, Captain Alex, please have your say.
Nigeria owing to the tune of 60 trillion naira on unabandoned and uncompleted
projects.
Contracts.
Yes.
Too poor. What has the borrowed money been used for goodness sake? APC have destroyed this country. How are we going to survive? Now, Tingo has come out with the subsidy removal. Look at the problem everywhere. Poverty. I'm sorry. It's a pity. God bless you.
Thank you very much. But before we move over to Comrade, let's still take more calls on the show. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Well, if you're having difficulty reaching us, do also drop your messages on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at Quest Live Online. The show will see your messages and even reply back. But with that being said, let's see if we have another call online right now. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, this is Henry from Africa.
Mr. Henry, welcome. Please have your say.
Investors react positively as Tinubu means carry and immediately over affairs of
Yes.
CUC, Labour says Declaration Intensity. Where price is 7 naira per litre. Federal government owes NFPC 2.8 trillion naira.
Yes.
Stock market in 1.5 billion naira. Now, I don't know, it's like this stock market something like the one that you have to always suffer. Whether it gets or not, the truth is that the declaration, like the CUC and Labour said, is intensity. You want people use start. For instance, if you want to do it, you don't need to go and announce it. Like, no, the people now, they have not bought the new one, but they are increasing. Look at the old country all over the place. Before you know that, you will be totally effect in the price of goods, and now will still go down in value again. So it's a wrong something. Whatever gain is being achieved for now. Then again, tribunal receives OB petition. The truth that the judiciary should make sure that it should give us fair judgment, and not only that, it should be still to be done for Christ's sake, because this country now is like it's pregnant, so they kind of a camp but uneasy camp. Now again, death in a hotel owners to die.
Yeah.
What is death of the only student? That is a very good point. At least if only the big men, they always die for their action. It's very good for the women. Have a good day.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Henry. But let's take more reactions on the show from the dailies. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the show. Your name, your location, please.
I'm ready.
All right, please have your say.
Yes. Labour president said that NATC didn't vote them in one of the days. So now, during the car crunch, what did Labour do? If the cash crunch not worse than this fuel subsidy removal, so Labour should keep quiet. Labour should keep quiet. That's all.
All right. Thank you very much. That was quite brief. But while we wait for those calls, let's move over to Comrade to enlighten us on some headlines before we take more calls. Well, Comrade, it's been a while. Yeah. Well, I went for the inauguration. But let's just talk about some of the headlines. The one that seems to be making the rounds on all the days this morning is talking about the petrol price hike. As it says, it hit 700 naira per litre, and federal government says no going back. TUC, Labour Party, and SDP kick, and they say the pronouncement is ill-timed. What's your take on this?
Well, thank you, Miriam. There can never be a decision that is too early, neither a decision that is too late. Yes. He has come out with that, but what I think he should have done was to first of all set the turnaround maintenance of the refineries in order, so that when you are removing this, they will know that there is a supplement from another side. But that was not done, and now labor is going on strike, like the man rightly said. When cash crunch was with us, nobody said anything. Everybody shouldered it, and we moved ahead as if there was nothing wrong. Now, except for that, we have moved, and not only that, going a little bit forward. When all these refineries have been down for years now, what is labor doing? What have they done? And what do they think they should do? Because if you don't cure an ailment on time, it results to chronic. And when it goes to that chronic level, anything can happen. We are already at the chronic level of it. If I did be that they protested long ago over the moribund refineries and they have fixed them, all these things wouldn't be happening.
Yeah, talking about the moribund refineries, on the front page of the Punch, it says 11 trillion naira spent on moribund refineries in 13 years, says the reps. Comrade.
Yeah, that is the problem we always have. That's the problem we always have. 13 trillion is more.
No, 11 trillion.
11 trillion in 13 years.
years.
That's an average of 900 and something billion per annum to get that figure. This is even more than a budget of so many countries. Is it because we have this too much money, we don't know what to do with the money? Instead of channeling the money into right sources, we channel them through revenue sources that will not bring any income. What did they do with that a trillion of naira? I remember in 1983 elections, when the Soviet whiskey received 1 million naira, he said if he sees 1 million in his life, he will just collapse. But these days, even children talk about trillions. You have spent that money in 13 years. Somebody should come out and tell us what they did with that money. The achievement from that money, what did we get from it? You know, but people just come out and call figures, and the federal government will keep quiet. The agencies responsible for such a monitoring will keep quiet, and the quagmire continues.
Okay, well, let's see if we have more callers online before we come over. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I'm Comrade Ikuta Simeon calling from Ozoro.
All right, Comrade Simeon, please
Yes,
have your say.
I want to first of all thank my comrade Efodomo. Yes, really, it is very, very unfortunate that our 3 federal refineries are done. 11 trillion naira, even 3 trillion naira is enough to put the 3 refineries in order for long. That is not done, and the first subsidy is being pronounced removed finally, and no going back. This federal government is very unfortunate. I want to appeal to the president on seat that he should look into the cases of the less privileged in the country, and therefore move towards repairing of the 3 refinery we have in the country. That is only the way the country can stay. Thank you.
All right. Well, comrade, before we end, there's a headline on the front page of The Guardian which says, Tinubu reinstates sanity as DSS and EFCC squabble over property in Lagos.
Who owns the property? That's the first thing. I think the property belongs to EFCC. DSS forcibly brought in the SS and they occupied it. So if the president says, leave the boarding house for the borders, he has not done anything wrong. DSS has their own office. Why forcefully removing the occupants of a building and occupy it? This is illegal. It's only in this part of the world that we can see people do things with impunity and nothing happens. But I think that's a very right step he has taken. We should give him kudos for that.
But generally at this point, especially with, the first day in office, do you think he's already doing well?
Definitely for the few actions he has taken, I think he's in the right direction. But he should not be derailed by praise singers. That is the first thing. 1-2 days is too early to start judging somebody who is going on a 4 years journey. Because Tinubu is going on a 4 years journey now. We don't know what happens after 2027, whether Providence will smile on him and he comes back. But for now, it's too early to start praising him. Let us see what he will do in the next 6 months. And after that too, this subsidy removal, he should police it. Let there be a political will, political statement, and the way that ought to follow that up. Because if things remain like this, I can bet you there will be chaos. There will be chaos. Look at transportation costs has increased everywhere. The stations are drying up. The 11 trillion, which we seem to be saving by now. Because if you remove the subsidy, you're no longer going to pay. So we are now assume that those subsidy monies will be in our kitty. What does Mr. President tend to use those monies for? We have the health sector is epileptic. We have the aviation sector is epileptic. We have the downstream sector is epileptic. We have the power sector is epileptic. Out of this four on prevention, if it's only two they can pick, make those two healthy, then we move to another sector.
We're still talking about this petrol scarcity and price hike. Remember, Dangote's refinery is kicked off.
Yes,
what effect does it have on all this?
How many consumers will Dangote satisfy? That's one big question. What is the volume of production? Aland is producing whether that's 600 or 650,000 barrels a day to go around the country. You know, the country they are telling you that they consume 60 million liters daily. Where those liters go into, I don't really understand. But again, if you look at it critically well, everything in Nigeria today runs on fuel. Your generator at home, anything you do in the office, everywhere runs on fuel. And we should not look at it from the vehicle side of it. Yes. So what the government should do, give us stable electricity. Then consumption of this fuel price will come down. Because when the demand is low, the prices are bound to come down.
Okay. Well, Comrade here, we did said a lot today, but without any proverbs, and that's quite worrisome. But at this point, we've come to the end of the show.
It's not worrisome. We are just, the slow movement of a tiger. It's not an act of cowardness, but it's a calculated attempt at accuracy to achieve its goal.
Okay.
So now that we've just started this regime, let us wait. So the evaporation of the proverbs does not mean that they've ended in the kitty, but definitely they will come.
Comrade, thank you very much for being with me on air today. I have to log off the segment, but I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Yes, definitely, if you will not go on another sabbatical leave.
Thank you very much for making a paper review on Quest Today, your morning tonic. But stay put because the big story is coming up with Michael Gubadia. Have a lovely Wednesday.